Today I'm watching the Twilight Zone season 3 episode 17. The previous episode I really liked. It was about this old woman who was afraid of dying. She had isolated herself from the world and was convinced that Mr. Death was chasing her down, and he ends up, getting into her apartment and she ends up passing away. But yeah, I thought it was really well written and a really, well done episode, really great performances. So no preview. I have no idea what this episode is about, but very curious to see where we're gonna go. So thank you so much for sharing in this first time watching with me. If you have any other suggestions for movies or TV shows you think I should watch, please comment below. And if you want to see exclusive content from this episode, be sure to join Patreon. And as always, please like, comment, and subscribe to this channel, and check back often for more awesome content. That's an interesting building with the holes in the side of it like that. What is he, like underground? Like it looks like he's like inside a rock or so. What? So many questions. Is he vaping?
I don't know where you got your sound effects, but you'd swear a bomb was exploding. I mean
is that foreshadowing? Oh, that's so cool. Why does he have footage of this? What is going on?
You got quite a setup here. This part of the illusion, too?
No, this room is not an illusion.
Is he a magician?
It's not an illusion.
But tonight it's for gags, huh?
Something of the sort.
That doesn't seem funny.
You did all this to fool 3 of your friends? They must be kind of special friends.
Seems very committed to this prank.
And by one Paul Radin. Mr. Radin is rich, eccentric, and single-minded.
Oh, okay.
We shall see in a moment. Because all of you have just entered the Twilight Zone.
I'm very curious indeed. Yeah, this seems like a very elaborate prank that's not funny. I know it's black and white, but they definitely look like they're dressed for a funeral already. That is I'm worried he's gonna lock them in. He said it's a very elaborate bomb shelter.
Sit down. Make yourselves comfortable.
Oh, that's reminded me of like the courtroom episode where we just had the courtroom. The guy was in a dream and just lit up piece by piece.
Please sit down.
And I assumed he would be joining them. It just sounds like he's just like orchestrating it and narrating it to them. Oh, there he is. Okay, he's hiding in the dark.
You have an excellent memory, Reverend. And you, Colonel, do you recognize me? I believe I do.
A reverend and a colonel. Okay.
A few thousand cogs, I was only one of them. But then again, you didn't court-martial all of them, did you, Colonel?
Oh, okay. Oh my, so these are his enemies.
That was your contention to the court-martial board, and so I was stripped of rank, dishonorably discharged.
Yep, these are his enemies for sure. Yep, he's mad.
Take the sentence, I would have had you shot.
I'm sure.
Cheese and rice. This guy.
Of course I do, Paul. I taught you in high school. I don't forget my students.
His high school teacher as well. Ugh.
Flunked me, Mrs. Langsford. Dressed me down before an entire class, called me names, humiliated me.
Oh my gosh, this sucks. This lady. Yeah, I don't feel like this is going to be a friendly arrangement.
Delighted to. But first, can I get you something? Highball, perhaps.
Yeah, the fact that they've all wronged him in some way, I'm worried.
Troops out of the hot sun. The nerves of steel and the concrete head. That will be all, Radin.
And what's this thing floating in the background? It's very interesting.
School board. And the vast courage that comes with pitting all her wits and instinct and knowledge against...
He's like, I'll show you for wronging me. I'll make you pay.
My dear school mom, I've hardly begun.
I'm worried what he has planned.
Important man who walks with kings and heads of state and industrial tycoons.
It's too late to suck up now, I think. It's too late.
Tiny that it could brood over a high school incident of 20 years ago.
Yeah, she's like, let go of your grudges, buddy. Stop thinking about this. Oh my god.
Mr. Radin was caught cheating in an examination.
Oh no.
Tried to plant his crib sheets on an innocent student.
Well, that doesn't look great for him.
But neither sympathy nor compassion can be handed out wholesale like cheap bubble gum.
Wow, 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 wow.
And you never were.
That's so mean. I mean, obviously you shouldn't cheat, but still.
It's my guess you are still devious. You are still dishonest.
She's like, yeah, you haven't changed. Oh, God.
Even now, you're a troublemaker.
You haven't changed, Mrs. Langsford.
Nope, not at all. No.
But what's to be gained by...
A great deal can be gained, Reverend, but very...
Yeah, like he can't change the past. What's he gonna gain?
Character put a scandal over my head, destroyed my reputation.
Yes, I remember.
Oh, what did he do?
A girl, Mr. Radin. A girl you drove to suicide.
Oh, my God, what?
Stage. You were not a man who held honor in very high regard.
Wow, 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 wow.
Tonight, my friends, you will all go to the devil, and that is not a figure of speech.
He has the devil on standby? How rich is he?
6 inches of lead. I have my own generator system, my own air system.
Yeah, and he's gonna trick them into thinking the atom bomb has gone off.
To you, why I should have gone to all this trouble and expense.
Again, the games rich people play. Going after his old grudges.
The world is coming to an end this evening.
Or so he wants them to believe, yes.
I'm going to bomb them. By dawn, there will be nothing left but rubble and bodies.
This is one heck of a revenge scheme. My gosh.
That's the red alert. That means their missiles are on their way. Ours will follow soon after.
Just so that they feel the fear and humiliation that he felt.
Not a practice warning, not a drill. An attack by enemy forces is expected at any moment.
He's just so pleased with himself.
Comments? Perhaps a little military sophistry now, Colonel.
He's like, and what do you have to say for yourselves?
My wife.
By all means, Reverend, get to your wife, hold hands, and die together.
Yeah, like the door is not locked. He's just keeping them there with fear.
Me to my face that you're so scared, so miserably frightened that you'd sell your wife by the pound if it meant your own survival.
Oh my God.
Now, will you open this door? Will you let me leave now?
I can see why they would believe him, because it would seem like a very elaborate prank. And he's like you said, he has connections to these people who would have this information.
You mean to say that you would walk out of here and die, when by simply sitting here you could live?
And putting them in a literal life or death situation.
That is to say, I will not require an eye for an eye, nothing as primitive or as naked as that.
What is your price?
He just wants to emotionally destroy them.
Would be interested? I presume the Reverend and the schoolmarm would be interested.
Yeah, how selfish are they? Do they just want to save themselves?
You will ask my forgiveness, and if need be, you will get down on your hands and knees to perform the function.
He's literally making them beg for forgiveness. Oh my God.
Last quarter hour on Earth, I'd rather spend it with a stray cat. Or alone in...
Wow, 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 wow.
No.
The door, Radin. Will you open the door now?
This is not how we thought this was going to go. He thought they would beg for forgiveness, that he could humiliate them, they'd stay.
Reverend. All you have to say is you're sorry.
He just wants to hear it. He just wants the apology, of course. But they don't think they did anything wrong.
On that screen, you can see it all happen, the whole thing. Watch the world being shoveled into a grave.
And he's got it right on cue, lined up with sound effects and everything.
Even higher. Honor is one of them. Perhaps the most expensive of them all.
And they think he's a man of no honor.
Try not to get too lonely, Mr. Radin. Use mirrors. They may help. Put them all around.
Oh my God! She sucks!
It'll be a fantasy, of course, but then your whole life has been a fantasy. A parade of illusions.
She should not be teaching children.
About what justice is. Illusions about what is the dignity of even the lowest of us.
Wow, 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 wow. This is not helping.
Have it all to yourself.
Could you imagine somebody saying that? Oh my gosh.
No, it's not true. It's not a fantasy. No, it's not a fantasy!
She's like, well, put up some mirrors. You love yourself so much. You'll have nothing but look at but yourself. Like, grrr.
That's quite enough!
Oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah, his plan backfired for sure. It really did hit? I thought he was just pranking them. Oh my God, I thought he was just messing with them. Cheese and rice. Wow, 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 wow. He really was trying to save them? Very curious indeed. I'd rather spend it with a stray cat. Oh my god. Of all the people to save, with all the information you had, you picked the 3 people who'd wronged you. You could have warned so many people. You could have helped so many, even the guy who set it up for you. Oh my gosh. Crispy. Oh. It's a statue outside of the...
Buddy.
And now everything's normal, and he's crying into a fountain. Okay.
Hey, Mac.
I didn't want it this way.
Let me take you home, Mac.
Is he just drunk?
Mac.
Anybody want somebody listen to me?
Is he high? Drunk? What's going on? He's not okay.
Nobody. Nobody. Oh, God.
Nobody what? Does he not have anybody? What's going on? Is he just sad and alone?
Dealer in fantasy, who sits in the rubble of his own making and imagines that he's the last man on earth.
Oh my gosh.
Nightmare. Mr. Paul Radin, pallbearer at a funeral that he manufactured himself.
Wow, 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 wow. Oh, that's so curious. Okay. So that was my first time watching the Twilight Zone, season 3, episode 17. I don't know how I feel about this episode yet. It was interesting, but I also wasn't really rooting for anybody. Like, none of the characters seemed to have, qualities that I was cheering for. And when we have the reveal at the end, when Radin comes out and you're like, oh, the bomb did happen, the world is destroyed, you're like, oh, he really was trying to make amends. He picked the 3 people out of everybody in the world, which, I mean, from what we learn later, it sounds like he didn't have a lot of options. He didn't have a lot of friends or a lot of close people in his life, but of all the people, he picked the 3 people who had did him wrong to save and to, be the only people he's stuck on the planet with, basically, because if, they're going to be stuck in the shelter for who knows how long, like, if that's his mentality, and then, to find out that that's not the case, that he just was doing this prank, which, again, was what I thought we were doing the whole episode, just the reveal with him coming out at the end. I was like, oh, this really did happen, but of course not. It just went back to reality, and he's just sad and lonely, but... yeah, it reminded me of a few other episodes we had where the episode where the guy was put in the box for a year and couldn't talk. And again, like, what people with too much money, too much time on their hands, and grudges from 20 years ago that they want to, settle a score, and the situations that they manufacture that get themselves into trouble. And, it just felt bad for him. He's outside crying in the fountain. We have that, transition from the statue back to it being, surrounded by the buildings. But he thought he was so clever. He thought, I'm going to give this prank. They're going to be groveling on their knees. They're going to beg my forgiveness and apologize. And he's like, then I'll feel better. Then I'll feel better about myself going after these people, who wronged me my whole life. And that's how he perceives it anyway. Even though it's been, 20 years since he's seen these people, he still can't let it go. And the teacher does call him out on that, which does feel mean, but also... you're an adult, sir. Like, you gotta let these things go. It happened in high school, and, I could see why he would be upset about it. But again, at the same time, bringing her back only made things so much worse. Like, their whole conversation was horrible. She was just being rude to him the entire time. And again, he's trying to prank her with an atomic bomb, wiping out the entire planet. Like, nobody wins here. Nobody wins in this situation. You're all being horrible to each other, and the end of the world, usually brings out the best in humanity, but not this. Like, tragedies or disasters, humanity bonds together, but not these guys. These guys are digging in their heels and just calling it out and being like, F you, I don't want to deal with you, you were the worst, I'm still mad, and here's a, video of atomic bomb. I hope you enjoy thinking that the world is ending. And I don't think he thought they would leave. I think he thought that they would be groveling immediately. Like, I thought in his head, he's thinking this plan's gonna work, it's foolproof, I've got the sound, I've built this bunker, it's 300 feet underground, they're gonna feel safe here, they're gonna fall for this, I've got the sound, I've got, video footage, like, there's no way they're gonna not think this is a trick. But the fact that all 3 of them would rather die than spend one more minute with him, says a lot about all of them because, even the teacher's thing, like, I'd rather spend it with a stray cat than, be stuck here with you, basically. And of course, their first response is to go back to their families. And I was like, why would he pick just the three of them? And then as soon as we find out that they've wronged him, you're like, oh, he's here to settle the score. He's not here to actually save them. He wants to humiliate them like they humiliated him. And now he's trying to make them feel the way that he felt. And of course, we see exactly that does not happen. Nobody apologizes to anybody. They just get more and more mad. And it's like, you took the time and energy to find these people after so long, to call them up, to bring them here, and your plan didn't work. And now he's just somewhat sadder and lonelier that, he's living in this fantasy world that he's the last man on earth because he has no one else. It just felt so sad. And, we had a theme of death in the previous episode, and it feels like we're taking that over into this episode as well, in a way, with literally giving these people a life or death situation. Be like, stay with me and live, or go out to the world and die. And they're like, we're going to take death. Thanks for playing, though. And again, it's just, we hear a little bit of what each character did and why they were brought there. The teacher humiliated him because he cheated on a test. He was court-martialed in the military for not following an order. And the guy's like, yeah, I would have had you shot. Like, I thought the punishment was too light. I would have shot you. And it's like, my goodness, like, these are some very harsh and intense people. And the reverend saying that, I don't know if he was dating this girl, what happened, but they basically blame him for this girl, unaliving herself. We don't know much about that story, but either way, he was publicly humiliated, whether he was at fault or not. And again, he obviously disobeyed the order with the military. He chose to cheat on the test. He doesn't deny any of those things, but it's the response to those things that gets him so mad, and obviously is deep. Like, this guy needs therapy real bad. Like, he's just dug in, is probably thinking about these every day. It's just not let it go. And usually if someone has, friends or family or other things in their life that take up that time, but I feel like his whole time is, other than being obviously very wealthy and successful, and we don't know what pursuits in business he was exploring, but, the fact that he has just so much time to dedicate to being mad about these things says a lot. And because again, usually if you have friends or family, you're not spending 24 hours a day thinking about your high school teacher who humiliated you, and he just can't let it go, and it's just eating away at him. So he's like, oh, I'll just bring them in and think of the most elaborate prank. It's like, you're all adults now, and it's not funny, and it didn't work. Calling him a man of no honor, and he doesn't seem like he's, disputing that. Like, doing this prank does not seem like an honorable thing to do, obviously. And maybe they are right about the assumptions that, he is maybe a little selfish and has these illusions of, going back into what really happened and spending too much time thinking about it. And, even the teacher's saying like, oh, just surround yourself with mirrors because you can only look at yourself, then you'll have some company. And it was just, that exchange was very, very harsh in my opinion. I was like, oh, she deals with kids. Like, she seems like a very tough individual, and she's like, I have tons of compassion, but I don't give it away. I was like, what is that? Like, it did not seem like a crowd of people who would easily be swayed into apologizing and being an adult and letting things go into the past. These were people who were like, nope, I'm stubborn, I'm right, you're wrong, I'm big, you're small, that scene from Matilda. But obviously taking place in one location, a short time period, just a lot of dialogue between our characters, and the reveal at the end to show the world destroyed. But yeah, very interesting character episode. And his plan to tell them that the world's destroyed and thinking that's the only way he can get them to apologize is by destroying the entire planet, and him being the only salvation, him being like the hero to show up and save the day. Like, how great am I that I showed up and, took in these people who wronged me, and I'll show them. Like, yeah, it was just such a wild episode, and him being the only pallbearer, left to bury these people. We had a previous episode as well about a bunker, but there was not enough room when the neighbors were trying to get in, after a friend's birthday party. So yeah, it's interesting to see, we're still seeing like wartime, themes, and obviously a bunker mentioned as well. And obviously the threat of an atomic bomb was not something that they weren't familiar with. They were very aware that this could happen. They have the announcement coming in over the speakers, again, part of the ruse, part of the illusion to make it seem real. And Radin just sitting there with this big smile on his face, thinking he's going to embarrass them and he's going to make them feel scared like he was. And I think it would have been interesting to see if one of them would have apologized, if, the reverend or the teacher or, the military guy would have apologized, if just one of them would have been like, look, it was a long time ago, we both made choices, you know, I'm sorry for the way I acted. I'm curious if the other two would have given in and also apologized, or if they just, you know, had this. They all seem to be very similar in character of being like, no, you messed up, you're wrong, I'm right, I'm not apologizing, I'm not budging an inch. And again, willing to choose death over apologizing, making amends. You know, I don't know they would go as far as begging and groveling for his forgiveness, but at least having that conversation to apologize, because it sounds like that's all he wanted was for them to say sorry, and he never got that and has now made things 100 times worse. Overall, I think it was an interesting episode about themes of forgiveness and being stubborn, maybe, and the consequences of your actions and growing up and how you have to just kind of move on from some things and how holding a grudge can affect you, you know, over time. Because clearly he'd been thinking about this. He had enough time, energy, and money to build a whole bunker, set up sound, set up visuals. Like, this was a well thought out prank. This wasn't, oh, I'm gonna, you know, toilet paper somebody's house or something. I'm gonna prank phone call them. Like, he took so much time and energy and his own money to do this, to get back at people who wronged him 20 years ago, you know, from high school. And yeah, the lesson, you know, let go of your grudges, it doesn't pay. And I just felt bad for him in the end because he's just crying and sad and seems even more lonely than he did before. No preview, so I have no idea what the next episode is about, but yeah, very curious to see where we're gonna go. So thank you so much for sharing in this first time watching with me. If you have any other suggestions for movies or TV shows you think I should watch, please comment below. And as always, please like, comment, and subscribe to this channel, and check back often for more awesome content. Why does he have footage of this? What is going on? That doesn't seem funny. A reverend and a colonel, okay. He's like, I'll show you for wronging me. I'll make you pay. Yeah, like he can't change the past. What's he gonna gain? He has the devil on standby? How rich is he? He just wants to emotionally destroy them. I'd rather spend it with a stray cat.